it's unreal. Like it from your room looking at this volcano, it just feels like you're looking at CGI. You realize again over and over how Bitcoin has already won. I'm like, should I leave a link to that? But it's a Bitcoiners in El Salvador Telegram groups. What's going on, everyone? Michelle URL here, and welcome to the channel. Welcome, Bitcoiners. Bienvenidos. Hola, ¿qué tal? Okay, we're going to talk about El Salvador and my experience in May. I spent 2 weeks in El Salvador, and it was an incredible experience. I learned a lot. I discovered a lot. It was beautiful. And what we're going to talk about in this video are a few resources that maybe you can incorporate if you're a first-time El Salvador visitor, and also some of my favorite places that I went and experiences that I had. I meant to record this video months ago at this point, and I was originally going to do this like long presentation, and I kind of don't want to do that. Part of the beauty of going to El Salvador as a Bitcoiner and going for the first time is just like the experience of discovery and just how much you learn. Because one of my goals there was to only use Bitcoin. So 99% of my payments were in Bitcoin. And so I essentially lived off of Bitcoin for 2 weeks. If you don't already do that, kind of your experience with Bitcoin might be, sending your Bitcoin to cold storage. But when you actually have to live off of your Bitcoin, it's a totally different experience, and you learn so much. With that, let's first get into wallets. So as soon as you get off the plane, you're going to have the opportunity in the airport to use Bitcoin, because it's like a $12 visitor fee or whatever that you have to pay when you enter the country, and you can use Bitcoin to do that. And so again, you're going to learn so much, because here I pulled out Strike to pay at first, and I didn't realize, but I was using Bitcoin on chain and not using Lightning. And here I was like standing there for 10 minutes waiting for the transaction to go through. So that's another thing. Make sure as soon as you get off the plane, you already have your wallets loaded and your Bitcoin is on Lightning. Wallet of Satoshi is a Bitcoin Lightning wallet. I was using that quite a bit. I hate, and I don't say hate often, but I hate the Wallet of Satoshi interface. The user experience, I think, is one of the worst that I've had with a wallet. So I found myself using Exodus more than anything. They have a Bitcoin Lightning wallet, so you can like send Bitcoin to your Exodus Bitcoin account, and then you can transfer it to Lightning. And then also I was using Strike. With this, I will say you may want to have 2 to 3 wallets loaded and ready to go. And the reason why I say that, and the experience may be different now, but when I was there, I would notice that I would have issue with one wallet, but I wasn't having the issue with another. And for example, there are times where you can like scan a QR code, and I never figured this out when I was there. Maybe at a local tienda, you'll have the opportunity to scan a QR code, but when I was scanning that QR code, like it would be a poster leading to their Bitcoin Beach wallet, which I think is Blink now, which when I was there, I wasn't able to download that app, which I think may be different now, but at that time, I wasn't able to download the Bitcoin Beach wallet because I wasn't an El Salvador resident. So I had to use these other things. Anyway, back to the point. So for example, there was a local tienda that had their Bitcoin Beach wallet QR code, and I would scan it, but it was almost like the QR code was trying to link me to a URL and not necessarily a Bitcoin address. And I never figured out what was going on there, but I would just say, as a safeguard, have your Bitcoin on Lightning ready to go across multiple wallets. So the next resource that I think is absolutely crucial is the BTC Map. This was another one of those things. It's like, I've been studying Bitcoin and have been a Bitcoiner for so many years now, and it's like, why didn't I just like don't recall ever knowing about the BTC Map. This by far was the most beneficial resource. So basically what you can do, you can go to this open map. And again, this is just like one of those things, you look at this map and you're like, you realize again over and over how Bitcoin has already won. Look at this. So basically what this map does, it's a collective map in the sense that anyone can go in here and add locations that are accepting Bitcoin. So all of these things that you're seeing on here are essentially vendors that accept Bitcoin as payment. So there's hotels, there's restaurants, coffee shops, grocery stores, right? So if you go to El Salvador and go to this map, you'll start to see all these different vendors that accept Bitcoin as payment. Super cool. And as you're traveling around and going to these different vendors, these different restaurants, stores, whatever, you can go in here and update information. So the next thing is like, so we have this map and we know where things are. We know where these businesses are that accept Bitcoin. How do we get there? My main mode of transportation was with BitDriver here. So for me, and I was traveling solo at this time, and I knew that I wanted to ride with someone that was known within the Bitcoin community. As a woman that doesn't speak the language and is coming to this foreign country, all I wanted was to feel safe. And it can be really scary. I think they do have Uber in El Salvador. You weren't about to catch me in an Uber. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just too easy to get in the back of a car, get in a car, and you're snatched up, right? So for me, I felt safe riding with this taxi service, if you will. And of course, I could pay everything in Bitcoin, as of course, when you're traveling, use your intuition. Don't get into any car that you shouldn't be getting into. Again, as a Bitcoiner, I really wanted to tap into the Bitcoin network and at least make connections with people who have been vetted in some type of way, right? Okay, and let me add another resource. There's a Bitcoin Telegram group, a Bitcoiners in El Salvador Telegram group, and it has everything in there as well, like contacts for real estate, contacts for if you're looking at citizenship, contacts if you're doing this, contacts if you need a driver. And so I did need a driver at one point, and I decided to use the Telegram. Again, I tapped into my intuition. I felt good about getting in that vehicle, and I also used that to get around as well. So I'll leave a link. I don't know if I can leave a link to that in the description or not, but it's, I'm like, should I leave a link to that? But it's a Bitcoiners in El Salvador Telegram group. So another incredible resource. Lastly, Escape to El Salvador was another site that I found myself going to often for information, and this has since been updated since I used it a couple months ago. Next, if you're going to El Salvador, I highly recommend you schedule your trip around a Bitcoin meetup. I went to one. This is the one that I went to right here at Honolulu SV, and it was just a vibe. It was good conversation. It was good energy. You know, people were talking about Bitcoin. You met people from, you know, across the world who had moved to El Salvador or on some type of visa, and they're exploring the country. And so it was just a really cool experience to meet these individuals. And I also won a jade there, so that was cool. And here's an example of another one, Sandy Waves, another notable name in the Bitcoiner community there. But yeah, highly recommend, if you're gonna go, try to schedule it around a Bitcoin meetup so you have this central location and central event, if you will, where you can meet other Bitcoiners. Now I'm just going to talk about a few businesses that I interacted with. So Machan is a hotel if you will. Hotel doesn't feel like the right word to describe it, but that's essentially what it is. And this is where I spent 95% of my time. Beautiful, beautiful location. They got a pool. There's like roosters, roaming around. It's just like very lush, and it's walking distance from the beach. It's like a 3-minute walk from the beach. It's in El Zante, of course, and the staff was amazing. The food, absolutely phenomenal. So fresh, everything made on the spot. Absolutely incredible experience at Machanti. And of course, I paid in Bitcoin. Okay, I even tipped in Bitcoin as well. The next thing, Compo Bao. Compo Bao is like I don't know if you would call it an estate or what, but it's up in the mountains. This was about an hour and a half from Machanti, an hour and a half drive. It's up in the mountains, and you have this insane view of a volcano, and I can't remember of the name of the volcano at this moment. But when I tell y'all this view right here, it's unreal. Like, it from your room looking at this volcano, it just feels like you're looking at CGI. That's how unreal the view is. I absolutely loved my room and the experience. The staff, super cool. I got a tour of the estate and some of their more luxury rooms and homes that they have there. So that was cool. But I will say they're a little buggy because you're literally up in the mountains in nature. It's not buggy in a nasty way. It's like in a camping way, but absolutely beautiful and great service. And I paid in Bitcoin. The next thing, so on your way up to Compo Bao or on your way down, you can stop at Crater. Absolutely stunning location. So I had a meal here, I had a coffee here. It's just a beautiful view. They have good Wi-Fi. So I did some work here, and of course I paid in Bitcoin. And then lastly, I want to talk about this other experience that I had. So in El Zante, and it's literally a 10-second walk from Machanti, is Hope House, which I had heard about through Twitter, but going to Hope House, and I worked like a Friday there in their co-working space. That was cool. Then I went back on a Saturday and I spent some time with the kids there. But it was just a beautiful moment to see these kids learning to surf, and just like the community aspect of Hope House, how they are being leaders and guides for these children and teaching them these life lessons. I even went to one of their workshops later that day that was like talking about entrepreneurship, and that was like really cool to see. But again, this is a place that accepts Bitcoin and also teaches about Bitcoin as well. I met this gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he was one of the founders of Bitcoin Beach. And so super cool guy. If you really want to have that local experience and kind of tap into the culture a little bit and to the locals, would definitely recommend taking a Saturday or a Sunday and checking out this space. And that's all I have for you in this video. I wanted to make it as quick as possible. Hopefully you found something that you can use in this on your trip to El Salvador, to Bitcoin country. If you have any questions about my experience or anything else, drop it in the comments, or you can follow me on Instagram and message me on there. Happy to share more information if you need it. And by the time this video posts, I should have a reel up on my Instagram going through every location that I went to that accepted Bitcoin. So you'll get to see more of El Zante in that video, also of El Tunco as well. And it's more of like the party area. It's a fantastic vibe out there. So all of that will be in my Instagram reel. So go to Instagram to see that. And I'll see you in the next video.